Hey guys, Shawn here. Had a great idea from a viewer to do a video on how to create a positive work environment without being labeled a brown noser by the coworkers, right? Because people who are very nice people might also be um, kind of displaying a pattern of being negative at work, and it's kind of causing some frustration for this person, right? So, sure, we've all been there, had that happen, and the thing that I would kind of say about that is that chances are these negative types of places don't just happen accidentally. They're usually constructed by a cluster of embedded attitudes and behaviors of the people who maybe have been there for a long time. Maybe they're burnt out. Maybe they're in a position that they didn't really earn, or maybe they're threatened by somebody. Chances are, though, if you have to be concerned about how you'll be perceived being positive, it's a pretty negative place. Um, and of course, you have to maintain your job and work there. So, what do you do about that? Well, the first thing you do is understand what you're dealing with. There are three types of people who contribute to a negative atmosphere at work. Number one is the people who we all call bystanders, who just stand there and don't engage with their day-to-day reality, right? They have kind of a victim mentality in the sense that they view responsibility as being somebody else's job, not theirs. Day-to-day experiences, cultivating relationships, nothing that they need to concern themselves with. And these are the people that just stand there and watch other people get bullied by bullies, which is the second problem person. The bully is, of course, is the one who's really the mastermind behind the negativity because they want to be in charge. Maybe they're not in charge. Somebody else is in charge, but this person wants to be. And maybe they really are in charge, but not on the rank structure on paper. But they're a center of influence. And the reason that you're having a frustrating experience is because you're a center of influence. Only you're on the positive side already, right? So bystanders, bullies, and the third piece is what people call bully assistants or minions, right? I call them minions. It's not a very flattering word, but you see it a lot in the movies, right? Igor holds the door open for the evil Dracula or whatever. And they have that movie that just came out recently called Despicable Me with all his little minions, and they just do what they're told. They do their bidding. They work for the person who is the most dominating because minions are known for their fear of conflict, their fear of confrontation, and their willingness to allow themselves to be used, right? Which is what you obviously are not willing to do because you're feeling frustrated. Minions don't often display a frustration with this type of dominating situations because even though they deep down, hate being controlled, they're so afraid of confrontation, and they perceive that that would make them into a bad person if they were to say no and have appropriate boundaries, that they allow this person to get away with dominating behavior, and they end up kind of dissociating, and they become a habit for them, and it's unconscious, and the next thing you know, they're drinking their coffee and talking to you at the water cooler about how great everything is, even though you're maybe feeling anxious inside about having to go through the workday because you're not blocking out your awareness of how awkward it is in this negative place. So that would make you on the heroic side of things because you want to influence, you want to take action, you see something wrong. But you know that if you do take a positive step, you're going to be counteracted, neutralized, dare I say, by this villainous intentional character who's going to they're going to reframe your positive expression as a failure, right? And you have to just understand that that is behavioral shaping. They're attempting to give you an aversive consequence for a positive behavior. And they're shaping you downward into a state of submissiveness where you no longer will maintain your personal autonomy, which is free willed agency. That means your ability to direct yourself, to be self-directed. These other characters are not being self-directed when they just do the bidding of the bully, right? They're being directed by another person. They're other directed. So finally, you want to engage in behavioral shaping right back, but for positive. So no longer attend to them. Don't give them attention when they're being negative with you or others. Don't laugh at the negative joke. Don't smile at the negative comment about the other bosses. Only respond with positivity and applause and attention and praise when they show signs of positivity, even if they're tiny little signs at first. And the more you do that, the more they're gonna keep coming to you with positivity, and you pay attention and you notice that, and then you reinforce that, and eventually they're gonna get hooked on that, and you'll have changed their behavior, right? The second thing you can do is try to shape the social norms by working with a code of conduct, or helping people to just get in the habit of no longer being a bystander, and or no longer just being afraid of conflict. But understand that that's an extremely challenging thing, so you might not want to do that right away. And finally, you can try to create events at work, or contribute to the creation of the event by kind of passive aggressively putting in some positivity into the mix without people even noticing, right? If you're going to try to shape people directly with individual education, always remember that you cannot tell them that they're not good enough, because people have that image that they want to uphold of being perfect in order to protect their insecurities. And so it's always going to be, you're doing great, and I've noticed that you're like a great worker. And at the same time, I've also noticed that you seem like you're kind of like in a bad mood a lot, or kind of negative. Is there something wrong? Because if there is, maybe we can find a way to make life a little bit happier around here. Because I really enjoy it when you tell jokes and you're being cool, but not so much when you're talking bad about other people. Uh, so that's just an example of that. Anyways, good luck. That's enough for now.